So in a recent video of mine, I was reading through the comment section like I do on a daily basis, and one of you guys actually commented something pretty interesting, and it prompted me to make this video we have here. I'll read the comment off for you guys. Hi James, thank you for another entertaining video. Your videos are hilarious and also educational. For example, when in a movie the main character refuses to go with an ambulance, I always thought that scriptwriters wanted the character to seem tough. Recently I found out that the character probably was thinking about the money it costs. I never knew that people had to pay that much money for an ambulance. See, we can be clueless too. I have never been to the USA, and a lot of what I thought to know about your country I learned from movies and TV shows. And when I noticed something that seemed odd or remarkable to me, I assumed that those things only appear in movies. Now I'm not so sure anymore. So here's a suggestion. Can you make a America or movie video asking your followers if they want to come up with things they see in American movies of which they wonder if these things are only in America or only in movies? And then make a follow-up video with the results. For example, does everybody keep a spare key under the doormat? Or is it true that the names of victims are released to the press before the family has been informed? I have so many questions. That is a very good idea. In fact, I actually found a thread on Reddit that has a lot of those answers, but for all of the people who are in this comment section, I need you guys to go ahead and, for the people who have traveled to the USA, verify what would be considered fake or real. What is actually considered real? Things from movies that are stereotypes about America that seem fake but are actually real. Let me know what those are in the comment section down below, because it's very interesting seeing other people's perception of the United States of America and what I know it to be, right? When I watch these movies, I'm like, okay, yeah, obviously very accurate. Do they exaggerate some things? Yeah. For anybody watching this video that's not from the United States, that has visited the United States, and has also watched any American movie, what American stereotypes are actually true based on what you've experienced and seen yourself? Here it says, non-Americans of Reddit, what is an American thing you see in movies that you thought was fake but is actually real? Had a family come to visit from Guatemala and ended up taking them to a major junior hockey game, and there were a decent amount of fights that broke out. Asked my cousin how they liked the game so far. They responded with, it's just like I see it on shows and movies. Yeah, hockey genuinely surprised me when I first saw it. I'm like, wow, like they're really letting these players fight. Like the referees aren't stopping it. They're just letting these players go absolutely ballistic. And I came to realize that that's kind of normal. People like the fights. They like, the whole aspect of hockey and whatnot. It's a real thing. They get down and dirty, man. But it's also impressive. You have people, grown men on skates, trying to get this tiny little puck into a goal. And so it already takes skill to navigate and maneuver and pass the puck to your teammates. And now you're fighting, you're boxing on ice. So you get a boxing match and a hockey match all in one. The length of a CVS receipt. And for those who do not know what CVS is, it's a pharmaceutical company, pharmaceutical store in the United States that is literally all over the place. You can go to any state and you will find a CVS. You go there to pick up your prescription drugs, and they have a concoction of every possible thing you can think of in there. And yes, when you get your receipt, it is absolutely diabolical. It looks like Santa's wish list. That's why there's so many CVS pharmacy receipt jokes, because it's a problem. All the smoke/steam coming out of the vents on the road in New York in the movies. Oh yeah, that also exists in Chicago as well. The warmth of the underground, it'll come out through the ventilation system on the surface. Every time I would walk through the city of Chicago, for instance, right, I would walk over those grates where all the steam would come out, and I had a fear of falling through those grates and just landing on the subway level underground. New York has the same thing. It's just an irrational fear I had growing up. The over-the-top Halloween parties where everyone took a large amount of effort to dress up. Yep, that is accurate. Halloween was probably one of my favorite holidays in the United States. Of all time. Because yeah, you got to dress up as your favorite characters. Everybody took it super serious. You got like the makeup, you got the costume. Sometimes you had gadgets attached to your costume and stuff like that. You got complimented by how good your costume was. And if your costume was really cool, you got extra candy when you went trick-or-treating. I thought that was a really cool time to really appreciate a lot of those things. Again, don't be shy. Let me know what you have experienced that aligns with what you've seen in the movies in the United States of America. I actually have something that was brought to my attention maybe a couple years ago, and it was the high school spirit. And by that, I mean the sports atmosphere. There was always a crazy hype in high school for all of the sports teams or different clubs. It was like a really big thing. There'd be like pep rallies and powwows and stuff like that all over the United States. That's still a thing, but you don't really get to see things on that level in a lot of countries, especially throughout Europe. I could have it wrong. I don't know. So please correct me in the comments down below. Fireflies are pretty wild. You sure do just have swarms of glowing bugs. Fireflies are pretty awesome. It's interesting though, because I'm not sure if they're native to the United States of America, but we have them all over the place and they're pretty cool. Tumbleweeds. I was actually flabbergasted when I went to the United States and people were casually talking about tumbleweeds. I thought they were just a thing in cartoons. The United States is massive. It has so many variants of different tundra, right? And I also thought the same thing. I thought the tumbleweed thing was just an over exaggeration. And then I wound up moving to Arizona and there are tumbleweeds everywhere. Everywhere. There's also tumbleweeds in Texas too, all over the place. The way Suburbia looks, I'm American and sent a picture of the street my home is to a German friend and he was like, it looks like a movie set. Yeah, I also keep forgetting that a lot of the movies that we see in the United States or that we produce in the United States take place in rural America, right? So like suburbs and whatnot, and not so much the city. And as I've beaten into the ground like a dead horse, I am from Chicago, Illinois. It was incredible growing up in a place like that. Absolute cultural melting pot. You know, you had a lot of like businesses that were close to each other and stuff. There was never a dull moment. And going from that to like the suburbs was a massive culture shock for me because I'm like, whoa, what the heck? The people just act entirely different. You don't have the same connections you had when you were in a city. I'm not sure if this is how cities work for you guys, but one big thing that I noticed when I was in Chicago is it's a big city, but it's also small, meaning if you know the right people, you basically know everybody in that city. Like, and I'm exaggerating, but you get what I'm saying, right? Diners and breakfast tradition. Don't know if I should call it like that, but I would see in those movies how diners would be a tradition to go to breakfast, and it's really like that. Those diners are busy. Diners are absolutely peak. I love diners. They're so cool. And they always still have the classic like 50s, 60s vibe to them, so it's cool. A lot of them feel very retro. Breakfast to me is like my favorite meal of the day, hands down. I know a lot of my friends don't really eat breakfast like that because they just love skipping it, but I love breakfast, and going to a diner and having breakfast is quite the experience. If you have not gotten to experience something like that before, you absolutely should. But there are awesome breakfast spots all over the world, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be a diner. It's just the diner feels interesting. It has its own vibe. Firefighters coming to help bring down a cat from a tree. I was visiting relatives one summer and one of the house cats climbed a tree and wouldn't come down. I came up with the idea of calling the fire department thinking they'd laugh me off and hang up, but sure enough, they came with a truck, ladders, gear, everything, and helped me bring the cat down successfully. Yeah, the fire department, it's pretty interesting because they will go out to help rescue cats for real. Like, cats just be getting into any and everything. They're so funny, and that's everywhere in the world, right? Cats just act crazy, you know what I mean? But at least in the United States, the fire department will go out there and save your cat if it is up in a tree stuck somewhere. Fraternity sorority scene in college. I was an international student at UT Austin, and it was a crazy realization that the movie depictions of college life is actually underwhelming. I witnessed shit that could not be legally portrayed in movies. You people are crazy. Yeah, I will say what you see in the movies for college is watered down, actually. Like, the stuff that actually happens in college is probably like 5 to 10 times more intense than you would think, and there's a lot of things they cannot show in those movies. So yeah, try going to a college in the United States. It'll change your life. The yellow school buses that have a flip out stop sign, those are very much a thing throughout the United States, for real. All over the place. And I realized, I guess there's like a traffic law where, like, you know, once that stop sign whips out, you cannot drive around that bus. I don't care how much of a rush you're in. It is literally illegal to drive around that bus if the stop sign flips out. I understand. I also used to take the bus and stuff when I was a kid and whatnot. And then it went from the regular school bus to the city bus because, you know, Chicago, it has its own very elaborate transportation system. Again, I will emphasize, Chicago is one of the only cities in the United States that has a vastly immaculate walkable city situation. The infrastructure is perfect. Not a movie, but a show. King of the Hill. That shit is a Texas documentary. All I can say is, ain't that the damn truth? Bro, It's so funny because when I would watch King of the Hill, I'm like, what is this boring show? It literally to me felt like just like a documentary of regular American life that was dry as hell. I'm like, okay, like this happens here. What's the big deal? But it was a major hit. Funny for a lot of people. People loved it. I wasn't the biggest fan of it because I'm like, this is just everything that literally happens on a daily basis in the United States, but in particular in Texas. Have a nice day everywhere all the time and blueberry muffins. It's so funny what you guys come up with because this is nuts. Yeah, everybody will say that. Have a nice day. Like after any conversation, right? You guys could have just finished boxing in the middle of the street and after you're done, well, you have a nice day. Boom. You know what I mean? Blueberry muffins too. That's a very good observation because I don't think I've seen as many blueberry muffins in my life as I've seen throughout the United States, no matter what state I go to. There just happens to be an abundance of blueberry muffins. That's just a way of life, apparently. But that's also very accurate. And you see it a lot in movies for a reason, because that's a direct reflection of what happens in real life. Now, obviously, there are some exaggerations, right? But like, yeah, the have a nice day thing is everywhere. Even in New York, kind of. Actually, the more east you go, they don't really say have a nice day. They basically say go f yourself, which is basically have a nice day. But like in Eastern United States lingo, baggers in the grocery store and door greeters in completely normal supermarkets. You know what's crazy? One of the very first things I tried fighting y'all on tooth and nail when I started all this stuff was the fact that I realized that in Europe, for the most part, in most of those countries, if not all of the countries, probably all of the countries, I'm gonna go ahead and say all the countries, y'all don't have baggers. Like baggers are not a thing. You have to bag your own groceries. Now I fixated on Germany, so I'm gonna fixate on Germany for this, because I know at least in Germany there's no baggers. I'm like, how do you not have baggers bagging the groceries? We have to bag our groceries ourselves? What? That is insane. And I literally could not wrap that around my big ass head. I could not wrap that concept around my universal galaxy size head. I'm like, there's no way. Like I gotta do it myself. I gotta come to the store with my own bag and bag my own groceries. You know how much I shop for everything under the sun. So it's gonna take me 2 to 3 hours to pack my shit up and get out of there. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but it's gonna take me a long time. But they have packing bags in Germany, at least, down to a science, okay? I think the slowest person I saw in there that had like 50 things on the conveyor belt was able to put their stuff in their bag in like 30 seconds. And that was the slowest person I saw. On average, they're in and out in 15 seconds. Boom, boom, boom. It's like listen, I don't think Gatling guns can shoot bullets faster than Germans putting their groceries in their bags and getting out the store. It's not possible. An American who lived overseas for many years and had many friends on social media when I returned home. I posted a photo of Chinese food takeout in those white square boxes and had dozens of my friends from overseas react in surprise. They thought it was only something they did in movies. Nah, Chinese takeout in the United States is different, bro. That's a real thing. If you guys have played Resident Evil and stuff, there is a Chinese takeout box trinket that you can get in the game in Requiem. And it's funny because I'm like, dang, that really is a thing. That is absolutely a thing. That's one of the most popular foods too in the United States, Chinese food. People love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And it's so weird for a country that is very riddled in like bigotry and racism and all kind of craziness. Man, we sure do love food from all different cultures, and we love music and media from all different types of cultures and backgrounds and ethnicities and whatnot. And then, you know, America just be, you know, flip-flopping. It's like, do we like being a melting pot or do we hate being a melting pot? Insane medical advertisements with a million side effects said in rapid fire at the end. We visited my husband Bestie in 2019 when we were watching something on TV while eating dinner. We saw our first one. Genuinely turned to him like, that's satire, right? Oh no, that's so serious. That is so serious. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play you guys a commercial right now.
Quit smoking with Chantix and support. Talk to your doctor about Chantix and a support plan that's right for you. Some people have had changes in behavior, hostility, agitation, depressed mood, and suicide.
That's a real commercial, a very real commercial. And it's funny because that is one of the slow commercials and stuff like that. It clearly spells everything out for you. Nowadays, to get past all the crazy, wild, wacky side effects, they rapid fire that shit. So it's like they say it at 2 times speed so you don't quite get everything. But it's like, oh yeah, you're experiencing depression and stuff. Like, yeah, try the yellow pill today. The yellow pill is amazing. It'll cure your mood. You will never be depressed again. And then the major side effect is you develop boils all over your body and your ears like, you know, turn inside out and your nostrils disappear, but you'll never be depressed again. Very interesting stuff. We'll do one more. And then you guys let me know in the comments down below, what are some of the stereotypes you've seen in movies that are actually real that you thought were fake, because I'm gonna make a follow-up video on this topic, and it's gonna be exclusively you guys' comments from the comment section, because I do want to see what you guys have to say. I worked with someone from Italy who was unfortunately surprised by a skunk. She didn't believe they were real animals that really sprayed until she tried to shoo one from her front porch. That's unfortunate. That's one of those unfortunate things she found out was real about America. Now, I'm not sure if skunks exist anywhere else, but America definitely has skunks, and that is one creature you do not want to cross paths with, because they will spray you into oblivion and you will smell funky. I think the only real way you can get rid of that smell too is if you take a tomato bath. I don't know what chemical in the tomatoes gets rid of the stench, but you have to soak yourself in a bathtub of tomato sauce, which is, and it's not even a joke. That's a real thing. I don't know what it is. It has to be some chemical compound that like breaks down the smell. Maybe some oil related shit. I have no idea. Let me know what you guys witnessed in movies and stuff like that you found out were actually true about the United States, that you thought were, you know, definitely over exaggerations or fake.